Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson. This is Full Time Devils. This is the big one, the Manchester derby. Oh, it's enormous. It's so big that you can probably see it from space. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Statman Daddy, Adam McCullough and Alex Hilton from Blue Moon Rising TV. What's happening, everybody?
Boo.
Right, this is potentially a season defining, and that's the first question that I've got for you. So I'm going to come to you, Statman Dave, first. Is this season defining game for Manchester United?
I think it's absolutely huge. I think if it's basically not to lose this game, it's really, really important not to lose it, because obviously with City just ahead of United in that Premier League, sort of chasing Liverpool, I think Liverpool are the team that are going to drop out of the top four. I pretty much expect City and Manchester United to get there now, given the inconsistencies of Liverpool and their formations and their tactics, and pretty much the whole club is a little bit run the wrong way at the moment. So it's United versus City, and this game is absolutely huge. But I think it's about not conceding goals and keeping it nice and tight at the back.
Adam, season defining for Manchester United?
Wow. I don't want to say that a game which is basically kind of might decide top four is season defining. At the start of the season, I remember having plenty of debates with the guys from Blue Moon Rising, plenty of debates with yourself about how United against City, Jose against Pep was going to be for the title. Now it's for top four. I don't think it's one of the biggest derbies ever. I don't think it. I don't. Obviously, it's a massive game when you look at it in terms of this season and our objectives now. That our objectives have changed from the beginning of the season, but it's still a bit underwhelming, isn't it? Top four. These two teams have spent the most in the Premier League. Both the teams have. I'm not just talking about City. I'm talking about United as well. And they've spent countless amounts of money. Both managed by two of the best managers in the world, and to think they're battling for fourth is a bit of a joke, really. But obviously, both teams have a long way to go in their progress. But yeah, it's a big game. We do need to not lose it, I think, is important, because if we do lose it, then we're not getting top four, in my opinion. If we manage to win it, then I think the momentum may be with us. I think that Arsenal game away from home, with them having the FA Cup final and the run that they're on in the league, I think that could be a good fixture for us. Spurs in their last game at White Hart Lane, could they do the Spursy thing of it and lose against Manchester United? There's a possibility of that. So I think if we can get through this game with 3 points, then I'd make us favourites finishing the top four. But it's, I don't know, just don't lose it is the main thing.
Before I come to Alex, you guys get your comments in below, and I'm going to read some of those out once Alex has finished. But Alex, is this season defining? Now, Manchester City, you've crashed out of every cup competition. Is top four enough of a saviour for you guys? And what's the crack if you don't finish in the top four?
Well, I think Adam's just hit the nail on the head there. I think there's a lot less to gain from this than previous derbies in the past. Certainly, earlier in the season we played you and we won at Old Trafford. It felt like that was a huge boost in the title race. And between both clubs, we have sort of lost our way a little bit this season. But there's so much to lose. And like you say, I think for Pep Guardiola, I've always said that this is like a season about developing, getting used to the squad, getting used to the Premier League and adapting. And I'm happy with that. But you want to see at least some success this season for what he spent. The Champions League didn't work out the way we wanted it to. We saw what happened at the FA Cup in London the other day. And I think if we don't hit the top four this season, then we can start talking about it being a little bit of a disaster this year. I think the winner of this game on Thursday night, the winner of that game will almost certainly finish in the top four. The losing side, you know, you got to rely on Liverpool to slip up, no pun intended. But it's one of those teams that it's going to be one of those games that I think is going to be more nervous than exciting for the teams involved. And normally with a derby, I feel pretty good going into it, but on this one, I'm feeling anxious. The way that United are playing at the minute, you know, the way that you played against Burnley and against Chelsea the week before, you're coming up to form, and it feels like we could potentially play without Silva and Aguero. And for the first time in the season, I am starting to get nervous a little bit.
Honestly, this is the first time you've been nervous.
In terms, it's the first time I've been nervous about Pep Guardiola.
All right, you guys in the comments are saying Jay says 3 points behind Liverpool with 2 games in hand. We don't even need to win it for top four. I personally think we don't need to win it, but we can't lose it. Like Adam said, I think we definitely need that draw. If Jesus plays, I'm scared. For Blin says, Guled issue. What's the crack on Jesus? Are you going to be back, Alex?
So he travelled with the squad down to Wembley on Sunday. He didn't get down in the 8 team, but he was in and around, and he has been training And the club have released lots of very interesting little videos of him, running through hoops and so on, and looking dead fit and exciting on the training grounds.
He's going on Crypto Factor.
Something like that, yeah. I think it's one of these that Jesus, he loves a big game and he wants to prove himself, and I think he loves all the excitement and the expectation. And he's one of the few players that I think actually you could throw him into a derby on his first game back after a long injury, and he'd love it, and he would make himself dangerous. So with Aguero going off early in the FA Cup because of an injury, apparently he is training again and he's in contention. Aguero, I think Aguero will start, but if Jesus plays, I'd back him to do something exciting.
Yeah, I think he is one of the most dangerous players that you've got, and he started off life in the Premier League fantastic. Let's hope he don't make it back. Speaking of exciting forwards, I'm going to come to you on this one with Dave. Anthony Martial. He came back at the weekend against Burnley. He looked fantastic, played down the middle. How do you think United are going to do without Ibrahimovic, and do you think Martial is the man to be leading the line on Thursday?
I think it's got to be Rashford. I think Rashford's form's been a little bit better than Anthony Martial's. Anthony Martial was fantastic against Burnley, but Rashford's been good for the last 5-6 games and looked fantastic at centre forward against Anderlecht. So I'd go with Rashford over Martial. But Anthony Martial, the performance against Burnley really showed his determination and fight wanting to get back into this side. In the game, he made 73 sprints, which was the most for him in the season, but also the most on the pitch. And he showed that willingness to get in behind and stretch the opposition, which we haven't seen centrally with Zlatan playing. He sort of half makes runs. It's more about timing, whereas Anthony Martial and Rashford is more about pace, and that's where City can get caught out, is centrally through that middle with simple balls over the top. We've seen Ander Herrera play some fantastic passes in recent weeks, but since joining Manchester United, Anthony Martial's been directly involved in more Premier League goals than any other player at the club, so he has made a massive impact, and he's not played too many minutes this season, but when he has played, he has done well and he has contributed to Manchester United, so I expect him to come off the bench and make a big impact.
Adam, we saw after the last derby that Mkhitaryan was cast aside into the wilderness and completely shunned before being brought back and reborn. We've seen it happen recently with Shaw and also Anthony Martial. Do you think this is excellent man management for Jose Mourinho, and do you think he's just about to hit that sort of form, Martial that is, at the right time and save our season?
I'm not going to come out here and say that Jose has worked a blinder on Martial, because we knew Martial had that in his locker already. It's not like it's something new with Anthony Martial. We knew he was that good. I think what Jose Mourinho has been trying to do is squeeze a little bit extra out of his game in terms of defensively, tactically. You'd see for Anthony Martial's goal at the weekend, it was a fantastic goal, but he started that move. He was just on the edge of the box. I think just about 10 yards outside the box, and he was just there waiting for the ball to break. And we've not seen him in those positions defensively a lot for Manchester United. So it's interesting to see the little tweaks to his game. Jose mentioned I was happy with his all-round performance, not just his goal and his assist. And I think, it's... I am for it, because ultimately, if all the players are doing what the manager wants, we're going to be more successful. But also, I'm a little bit against that sometimes, because if you did that Cristiano Ronaldo, for example, I know everybody's not Cristiano Ronaldo, but if Cristiano Ronaldo was 18 years old and you tried to drill that into him, you wouldn't get Cristiano Ronaldo we actually got.
We kind of
No, we didn't. It was in terms of his decision making, passing, when to shoot, when to pass, when to do dribbling, when not to. He had a free role, a freedom up the pitch. Sometimes he would just stand there and not do. And I know you can't do that with every player, and I know ultimately the team benefits more when all your players are well drilled and stuff. But I think in the long run, sometimes you can get a little bit more magic out of players when you maybe give the special ones like Martial a little bit more freedom. But overall, I'm happy with Martial. I want to see more of him in the side. I think him and or Rashford should be definitely starting at the weekend. On Thursday against City. And if they do, their pace can exploit City's back four or back three, whatever it is. We know how much space they will leave out wide and even through the centre as well. And if we get Martial doing that, man, he's so good. He's so good, seriously.
Alex, obviously United are going to be without Ibrahimovic, leading goal scorer for us, but we do play a slightly different and potentially more fluid way when he's not in the team. Who are you more worried about, or are you happy that Ibrahimovic isn't in the team, Martial or Rashford?
I mean, it's an interesting one. I'd never wish injury on a player, but if I had to, you put a gun to my head to pick a United player to get injured, it probably would have been Zlatan. I think he's the top scorer, and clearly he's the player that Mourinho wanted, and the player that is built his attacking style of play around. And for me, I like the fact that throws a spanner in the works. Martial and Rashford are both great players. Rashford has done us at the Etihad before, and I think going up against company like Otamendi, that sort of pace and that sort of excitement. And I think as well something that, as an outsider looking in, and you watch a lot more of him than I do, but I think something that Rashford is very good at is second guessing a defender. And I think Otamendi, for all his abilities, he makes quite basic, quite simplistic decisions. When he comes up against a little bit more of an intelligent striker, and somebody's got the pace to turn him inside out, I think Rashford's it does play to that weakness that Otamendi has. So at the end of the day, my round point here is that United have got lots of very good strikers that have anything in our back four, to be honest. I think as long as we're controlled, as long as company is in control of the back four, as long as the team work hard, and I think someone like Navas, who has played right back for all of 3 games, comes into the side and support and sweeps across, the pace element and that side of things won't be too much damage, and hopefully we can manage it. But ultimately, I think we will concede at some point, and regardless of who plays up top and who plays where.
Could be who scores first, scores last, and all that kind of caper. Right, let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. Luke D says Martial and Rashford up top. It's sexy to be thinking that we might play 2 strikers like that, but I think you're more likely to see one of them with someone like a Jesse Lingard or a Mkhitaryan off them, I think. Craig says, do you think all these injuries could be our downfall, or will we see the likes of Rashford and Martial reach the heights of last season? I think there's a little bit of an element of what happened last season with a lot of the injuries. Someone comes in. No, I don't think we've got a Marcus Rashford waiting in the wings to come out of nowhere, but someone's going to step in and take on these remaining 8, 9, 10 games of the season, hopefully to the same level Marcus Rashford did. Joe says, what do you guys want, top 4 or Europa League? However we get Champions League qualification works for me, and I think I speak for both the other 2 United fans in this one as well. Right, we're going to go to a quick ad break. And some of you will have seen that. And before we get stuck into it, I've just got to say Adam McCullough has been deducted 10 points for being late in the old team games. So he is now on 96 today. And Dave is on 83. I mean, don't worry about it. I mean,
the fuck you
judge's decision's final. So how about relax? John Shin's on 79. Paul is on 69. I'm on 52. Rachel's on 40, etc., 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 all the way down to Greg Johnson and Harves, who are on 4.
I'm tweeting, pick it out right now.
Dave, give us your starting 11 to take the 3 points from City on Thursday.
So I'm going to go with try and get 11 out of 11 this time to try and catch Mac after that points deduction. Thanks a lot, Howell. That means a lot to me, buddy. David De Gea obviously in goal. I think Valencia at right back. Bay, Blin, Darmian. I think that's pretty much geared up to be Mourinho's best back 4 at the moment. And considering Shaw versus Darmian at left back, I think Darmian, because of his ability to man mark and be a little bit more defensive than Luke Shaw.
Do you not think he could go with 3 at the back?
Don't think he'll go 3 at the back against City, because I don't think City will go 3 at the back. I think City have moved towards a 4-2-3-1, which United could counter with a 4-3-3, which is exactly what I'm going to go with. Into central midfield, I think Carrick's going to get the nod because he didn't play against Burnley. And then the Pogba, Herrera, they're the 2 players that I've thrown in there, but both of them apparently slightly injured, which is a little bit worrying. I'm hoping that Paul Pogba just went down for a bit of gamesmanship. Mourinho was like, end of the game, Pogba. You just feign a little bit of injury, then you're injured, so City don't know who United are going to play in central midfield. If not Pogba, then I'd throw in Marouane Fellaini as that more advanced role, just to harass. He's been quite good in the big games over the last few seasons. I think the Liverpool, City, Tottenham's, he's done all right. So it's not, obviously it's a massive downgrade from Paul Pogba, but he's not too bad an option. And then the front 3 behind, that are going to start. I think Rashford through the middle, Mkhitaryan on the right wing, and Jess Lingard on the left. I think Jess Lingard is going to be massively important in this game, just to do the work off the ball for the likes of Mkhitaryan and Marcus Rashford to just wait on that counter attack. So it's going to be a 4-3-3 for United for me.
Adam, what are you saying?
I think we'll play a 4-3-3 as well. I'm going to go with David De Gea in goal, Valencia, Bailey, Lind, and I've gone with Luke Shaw. I don't expect him to start. It was in hope rather than expectation, and it was before I got deducted 10 points. Rankers. Kenny Dalglish and Luis Suarez have got T-shirts ready for me anyway, don't worry about that. Carrick, Herrera, Pogba in the midfield, first choice midfield all day long. I would play Mickey, Marshall and Rashford, but this is Jose Mourinho. I think he'll go to play with Mickey, Lingard and Rashford. You know what Jose is like, right? Martial got a goal and assist, man of the match performance. That means he needs a rest.
Right. Alex, tell us the team that's going to be losing Thursday night.
We'll see how we get on, but I think it'll probably be Claudio Bravo starts in goal.
Yes!
So we'll high five and celebrate. There it is. He made something like 4 or 5 saves at Wembley, which was awesome.
No way.
So if you can keep it down to like 3 shots on target, it'll be fun. Sorry?
Oh way.
Yeah. So
Are we going to play Navas at right back? Because Marshall's going to twist him up big time. Sorry, I'm supposed to say that, semi-neutral.
You say that he kept Sanchez quiet on for the most part on the weekend.
Did you know? Are you in the final? No, carry on. What's the rest of your team, mate?
Are you in the final? Right, man, I knew it was going to be a nightmare. I knew it was going to be a nightmare coming on full-time Devils. We put Alson in charge. All right. Navas at right back, Clichy at left back, Otamendi and company at centre back. It'll probably be 4-2-3-1. So you'll probably see Yaya. Yaya will probably start. Fernandinho is doubtful. Fabian Delph, when he has played the last few weeks, has been awesome. So you potentially will see Delph and Yaya Toure as the 2 defensive midfielders. Going forwards, it will probably be Sane and Sterling on each wing, with Kevin De Bruyne down the middle, and it will be either Aguero or Jesus up top, maybe Kelechi. I would say Aguero to start. David Silva is doubtful. You might see David Silva push back into a sort of more defensive role if he is fit again, but I don't think he will play.
Interesting. Right, I'm going to come to you guys in the comments. Noah says, I think Fellaini for Carrick. Jaden says, Fellaini will play. I think there's a very real chance that Fellaini probably will play in this one. Luke says Marshall must start. Big Dave says get Rashi to ruin Company's career. Lucky says think we're going to play a 4-3-3. I think it'd be more like a 6-3-1. I think that might be a bit more realistic. A perfect result in the Liverpool match last week, and City played extra time, but I don't think we're going to take advantage of it, says Mr. Antonio. So I'm going to come straight back to you, Alex. Tell us what we need to be looking out for from City in this game.
I think what you need to be looking out for is all the pace that will play up front. If it's Sterling, Sane and Jesus up front, that is probably, I think, the fastest front three in the league. It's something that we've used to devastating effect. I think a few big teams have fallen to it. But the teams that have managed it well, such as Chelsea away at Stamford Bridge, we were dreadful there. And that's because they managed to mark it out and adapt to City style of play going forward. I think something to exploit, you mentioned it, Navas and Clichy as the 2 fullbacks. It does frighten me. Something that is, with Navas at right back, I felt comfortable just because he's had Fernandinho dropping in to support him. But with Fernandinho not playing, that will certainly become a weakness. On the counter-attack, City were awesome at the weekend. Keeping the ball, mistakes at the back, that's what United can exploit. That's what frightens me. What I'm looking for is City to play a nice, calm game, get exciting, get the pace when we need it, and hopefully exploit United's older midfield. But who knows
Sounds
what's
like
going to
City
happen.
need to spend
Older midfield?
50 million on a defender.
I don't know. I just think if you're going to play sort of Carrick and so on, I think that's where we might win the game. But
You just picked Yaya Toure and you're calling United's midfield old?
the difference is, though, Yaya...
All right, mate. Adam, tell us how we're winning this game on Thursday. In fact, no, tell us what City are going to offer us on Thursday.
Are their players really injured is what I want to know. Who's definitely out? Because I know Aguero's going to play, Silva's going to play. If
Stone, Sane, Gundogan are definitely out. And then Aguero, Fernandinho and David Silva were all taken off injured.
I wish Stones was playing. But let's say get that in there for a start, because he would have gave us a chance or two. But obviously, the threats from them, Sane for me has probably been their best. I know I haven't watched them an awful lot this season, but whenever I have, Sane has been one of their best players for me. I think he's quality, Sane is. So I think he's a big threat for me. Obviously, Sterling with his pace. Jesus, we haven't seen him play against United yet, so he'd be something new for the defence to handle. And I'd rather probably Aguero start than Gabriel Jesus because of the unknown with him. And I think his pace would worry. I know Aguero's not slow by any means, but I think his pace would probably worry the likes of Blind and Bailey a little bit more. But City are a good team, no matter who's out injured. They're a good side, and I think we get at them defensively. I think they can also get at us as well. I think we're a bit stronger defensively, but we will give them chances, and it's going to be who takes their chances on their day. I think Rashford will get the winner, though.
Oh no. Dave, what are City going to offer United in this game?
I think Gabriel Jesus is an interesting one, whether he gets the nod over Aguero if Aguero's not fit. Because when he played for City, he sort of completed Pep's side. You know, you think about the great Barcelona team with Lionel Messi as a false nine. Jesus was playing a very similar role where he was pretty much linking the midfield. They almost created a diamond in midfield where Jesus was at the top, which allowed Sterling and Sane to sort of get in behind. And that's where United could get caught out if the likes of Blind or Bay follows Gabriel Jesus into midfield, and that space opens up for Sterling and Sane to come in off the flanks and get behind United defence. That could be a bit of a worry, but I expect United to sit quite deep. I think Pep's had a number of issues this season. He's been, messing about with his fullbacks, inverting them and doing all sorts of silly things with them. And unfortunately, there's been some poor form in that area. He's tried Fernandinho there, Clichy sang it. There's been so many players that popped out wide. So that again is where United can attack. But then Kevin De Bruyne, a player that's so good at attacking midfield, but unfortunately Pep's been playing Silva there. If Silva's injured and De Bruyne comes in, that is an interesting proposition because he was fantastic against United at Old Trafford. So that is a little bit of a worry as well. So it's again, is this City side going to actually fall on something good if it's Gabriel Jesus as a striker, Kevin De Bruyne off that with Sterling and Silva each side? That's a little bit worrying in terms of the pace and the ability to break if they can nick a goal.
Dave, I'm going to stick with you. What's your score prediction?
2-1 United. Marcus Rashford winner.
What's your score prediction?
No, it's going to be 2-1 either way, but I'm going to say United.
What are you guys saying in the comments for your score prediction? I'll come to you as soon as Alex gives me his. Alex, what score?
I'd like to say 2-1 City. I think it will be a draw, and I'll go 2-2.
Oh, it's a killer. Right, let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. Joe says United 3-1. Wes says I'm in school right now. Is that wrong? 2-1 United, 2-1 United, 2-1 United. City will go for a draw, says Sunil. 8-0 United, which might be a little on the giddy train. A couple of free ones. No one really saying a draw, but we are a United channel. We are covered in United fans, so I wouldn't expect anyone to do that. I'm going to say 1-1. I think that's how it's going to go down. Anyway, thank you guys for watching us. Thank you to you guys at home. Thank you to all these guys for joining us. We've got a big debate coming out tomorrow, which you need to be checking out. All about the Manchester derby. You definitely need to be checking that one out, and loads of stuff coming out around the match as usual. So make sure you keep it locked to Full Time Devils. This is the big one. See you later.